All right, folks, we have another Health Haven podcast, and today we have Bikini Pro and cover model Laura Ivette. How you doing, Laura?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Laura, where are you from?
I was born in the Dominican Republic, and I came here when I was really young, probably like 3, and I lived in New York all my life.
And why? Yes, I'm born and raised in New York, by the way. Just so that you know.
What's that? Oh,
I'm born and raised in New York. So now I have to ask, your favorite place to eat in New York?
Oh,
Number
man,
one
that's
spot.
hard.
You're super hungry. You're in the middle of Manhattan. Where are you going?
Middle of Manhattan, a tough one.
That is tough, I know. There's so many spots, I know.
Like, where do you go? Honestly, I can say there's one spot, one Dominican spot that I always love to go.
Where?
And that's called Rubio's Cafe in Queens.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, you can't go wrong anywhere in Manhattan. Every corner there's like an A rating or a 5-star restaurant.
Absolutely.
So,
I have a spot.
you know,
I have a spot. You've been to Cat's Deli?
Cat's Deli.
Cat's
what
Deli.
Street is that?
It's the best pastrami probably in the world, and it's right off. It's right off of Houston Street, off of like First Avenue.
Okay.
World famous Cat's Deli. Oh,
I think
man.
I've heard of it for sure.
If you like pastrami, pastrami, this is the place to go.
That's the place to go.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's a funny thing because as much as I grew up in the city, and I still work in the city. I work here at Columbia University Hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure. But I do live in Long Island, so that's more where I eat and go for my brunch and stuff like that because that's where I live. But definitely, the city is a great place to pretty much indulge in anything you want.
Anything. Now, working in Columbia, is that where your molecular background
technologist,
came? Yeah, molecular technologist background came through?
Yeah, I actually, going to school, I had a professor who introduced me to the lab field. I was actually doing my bachelor's at the time, and I got a job on Long Island in a private histology lab as a lab technician assistant. Okay. And that kind of molded my path through school because I was like, okay, well, now I have something that I'm good at. I have experience, and I'm going to go ahead and, try and pursue that path. So one thing led to another, and the histology experience kind of propelled me into the molecular and genetics field here at where I work in Columbia University. So that was a really cool.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that, and that's what caught my eye off your page, besides the fact that you're a Bikini Pro, right? So I think the future of like nutrition and training actually, a lot of it, and I talk about this in a bunch of my podcasts. It might sound redundant, but a lot of it's going to boil down to genetics. What are you seeing in the field when you bridge that gap between genetics and nutrition and workout plans and medical issues?
I will tell you that if you're lucky to have good genetics, you could always mess that up. Even if you're born with great genetics, you have a great build, you can gain muscle easily. If you lead an unhealthy lifestyle, that all goes in the toilet. And again, if you're not lucky enough to have great genes for, I guess, a fitness build, there's always things that you can do to help, and that all starts with nutrition. It all starts with, a good diet, good healthy eating habits. The same with physical fitness and going to the gym and making the gym a routine, not just more of a lifestyle, not just something that you do whenever you feel like it.
Now, the way I understand genetics and all the research I've done is that, and correct me if I'm getting this wrong, it's a code that goes into, I guess, on the cellular level. The code can be manipulated either way, like how you're saying. If you work out continuously, eventually that code, that your data will change in your body, and vice versa. Even if you had good genetics to begin with, let's say above average genetics. I don't know what that really covers, but in terms of like frame or speed or fast, slow twitch muscles, and you have high percentages of both, without working out, that code will not be used. It becomes like dormant. Do I have that right? Or?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. There's just so many things that can happen in our genetic code. It's the possibility of, like, let's say a deletion, something that can trigger a cancer cell, something that can trigger, anything can happen in your genetic code to where it kind of switches on and off. And then all of a sudden you're either dealing with a disease, or you're activating a disease, or you're activating something that down the line is going to hurt your, I don't know, metabolism. It's just, it's really an endless possibility.
Right.
Possibility of
sequences, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's all about the sequencing. It's all about turning off and turning on different, like, codes.
Right.
And in reality, if you don't take care of yourself, it's so much easier. You're just, the propensity of it is higher. You know what I mean?
Now, how have you used your background, being a molecular technologist, and knowing about these genetic factors? How have you used that to enhance your professional? Well, I'm not gonna say your professional, but your fitness lifestyle.
You can't really enhance it because
okay.
It's funny because it's like, first of all, it's something very expensive. Even if I wanted to go and get my whole genome decoded, that's expensive.
Okay.
So I can't really say that being in the field I have any kind of advantage to myself besides knowing the repercussions of not, doing things that involve, like, for example, healthy eating and going to the gym and not taking certain medications, and maybe not putting myself out there to different chemicals and just things that you don't want to get involved in, basically.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I it's more of a learning experience. Like, oh wow, this person has this because of this history, or this, just little things like that kind of opens your eye, and it really it kind of like grounds you, and it says, okay, well, this could be you, or this could be a family member. So I think that's more the advantage than saying, hey, I'm gonna go, turn on this code.
The code, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I think there's
Correct.
two mindsets when it comes to this genetic path that our society happens to be, like, going on right now. And one is learning, like what you just described. Like, all right, every time I learn that there's billions of ways to sequence all this, I have a nice understanding, and I'm humbled about this information. I think there's a second path where manipulation it wants to be done to that code. What do you see?
True. We do have right now we're experimenting with cancer, and all these genetically like cancer gene therapies that we do have in place nowadays. To me, again, first of all, it would be such an expensive type of therapy that it would be out of, let's say, my reach to even want to do something like that. But I guess there's also an unethicality, if that's even a word. But there's something unethical about changing your genes or changing your sequencing in order to, I guess, propel yourself in whatever it is that you want to do. But I don't know. That's like some people have talent, work for it, and are great. Some people don't have the talent, work even harder, and are just as great. So it really depends on the person. But to me, I feel like you should just go with what you're given and roll with it.
And you know what? I agree with you. There's a spectrum out there that's growing, but there are companies like, for example, there's one Habit.com, and they're taking your genetic information and building a nutrition plan for you. So it's not like anabolic steroids and HGH levels, right, of the spectrum, but they are trying to make an ideal nutrition and workout regimen based off your genetic code. So that spectrum is like growing every day. And there's a couple other companies, and that company Habit just got, I think it was a $24 million investment from some venture capitalists. So it's a huge field, especially in our fitness industry. And to me, it's the future. To me, it's the future of our industry.
When you say it like that, then yes, because it's like saying someone is diabetic and their diet is specifically for someone who's diabetic.
Correct.
You understand? So I feel like in that case, that would be something that anyone should have access to, and should probably be even something that you would go to your primary doctor and say, hey, could you check this, because I want to be as healthy as I can.
Yep.
So when you're referring to that, 100%. But when you're trying to
I know.
do some,
the high end of the spectrum that just wanna,
right,
turn a 200-pound.
be like a superhuman.
Yeah, they're trying to go Captain America on everybody. I know.
Right.
I know.
Or what was that other movie with wasn't it Spider-Man with
the Green Goblin? Yeah.
Yes, the Green Goblin, correct.
Jacked himself up. Yeah. No, there's definitely that spectrum. I stay away from that end of the spectrum. I think when you talk about genetics, from what I've researched over the last 15 years, it seems the more you enhance it, HGH, steroids, the faster the code kind of, I don't know, gets scrambled, and the faster people kind of come down from that. And I've seen it. I've seen people jack themselves way up, and you come down 3%, 4% body fat over course of 2-3 months, and in the next 6-7 months they're back up to 30 to 32% body fat, and it's much more aggressive. The nature is much more aggressive. I compare it to stock.
Yeah.
I think stocks work like that. You pump up a stock, especially if the company there's nothing behind it, they fall just as drastically. Meanwhile, you could have a stock like GE or whatever. It's not the sexiest stock in the world, but it just goes up a percentage or two every year, and you'll have a good return after 30 years.
Agreed.
Yeah. So what else?
It's also
what else are you working on?
You mean in life or?
Yeah, in terms of your Bikini Pro career, your cover model career, where are you going with that stuff?
So I got into the whole fitness competition because consequentially going through school and going through being an undergrad and then being a grad and working 2 or 3 jobs and not really having time for myself and for my own fitness, for my own health, and eating, let's say, at 2:00 in the morning because you're up studying, I definitely gained at least 20 to 25 pounds, which I was just ashamed. And although I had done such a great thing as graduating college twice, it set me back to where I needed to find something. I needed to find an extreme, almost like an extreme, do or die kind of, something that I knew would work, because I had tried all the fad diets. I had tried all of the diet pills. I had tried doing the gym. I had gotten a personal trainer who told me it's okay to have a bagel 2 or 3 times a week in order to lose weight. So
to lose
weight?
I
was just,
Wow.
I mean, he was like, listen, as long as your diet's on point, you come to the gym, you can have that bagel. I'm like, okay, great. But
you get all types. You get all types. You get all types of people. You get all types of trainers. You get all types of gurus and wannabe gurus, and you get all types for sure.
And you know what? But that's the beauty of learning and going through your fitness journey, because you're fed with so much information that you pick what works for you.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like you're making this custom knowledge book for yourself, and what works, what doesn't work.
Absolutely.
But I think I was still in school when I did the competition. I was almost graduating, I think. And I went to a coach. So I knew someone who had done a competition who went to my high school. And I'm like, wow, if she could do it, I'm all in. I met with her coach. I signed up for the show, not even knowing if I would actually do it. But just to have that goal and as just having that in my mind and telling everyone, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this show, and I'm going to get ready for it. Not even thinking about what condition I was currently in. And honestly, I couldn't even run for 30 seconds if I wanted to.
Wow.
And it's not that I wasn't obese. I was just out of shape and out of touch with what my body really.
Right.
So after I competed, I got fifth place in my first show, WBFF show in Connecticut. And then I'm like, hey, I think I can go for my pro card. Why not? Let me try. So then I did 2 more months of training. got my pro card here in New York in the first WBFF show that they did.
Wow.
And after that, I've just been competing for fun. Really.
Now, are you gonna compete again, or?
So I just competed in April
Okay.
at the LA show.
Okay.
And I'm thinking of giving the competition life a little bit of a break, only because I am going through. I'm planning right now for my wedding next year. So
okay, excellent.
Planning for a show is just as bad, if not worse, than planning a wedding. I will tell you that much.
Hey,
there's just so much that goes into it.
I have some advice for you. Me and my wife were gonna plan a big wedding in New York. We winded up going away. We got married in Jamaica on the beach. There was only like 24, 25 of our closest friends and family. It was the best time ever. Instead of like the 200 people that would have been critiquing your dress and like saying, "Oh, the steak is cold," for a couple of hours.
100%.
Yeah, so,
you're right.
So that's what we decided. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it worked out for us.
Listen, I had the same idea you did, but when you come from such an extended family
Yes.
with me, like
Yep.
all of my, even my extended cousins are all first cousins, so
Big family.
everyone's a primo, you know, even if they're just a friend. So
Yep.
it's hard for me to kind of not shun, but like make it difficult for those people to attend such an important day for me. And
Right.
I'm a huge people person, and the more the merrier for me. So.
Right.
It'll be a painstaking process, but I know in the end it's going to be, you know, what I want, and to have everyone there is going to be a dream come true for me.
Awesome. That's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish you luck on that. Definitely, I appreciate your time. Love the science background. That's what I do. Honestly, I love training. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into science. I'm into just astrology, quantum theory. So when I saw your bio, I was like, I gotta talk to Bikini Pro and like molecular technologist. That's a weird combo. So.
Hey, listen. Next time you can get me some like solid questions, and I'll for sure go into like any background or anything that I do here.
Okay.
In my field, because mostly, and just to I guess clarify it, what I do is basically we get blood, or we get tumors, or we get any kind of tissue sample or bodily fluid, buccal swab that you can think of. We basically take that, we decode it, but first we we take the blood and we extract DNA or RNA depending on what it is that we need, and then from there we sequence it and we run it for the specific test that the doctors are requesting.
Okay.
So from there, literally from that DNA RNA, you can do so many things that it's really
ridiculous. I know. It's like endless possibilities, and this is the beginning of the whole field. So.
Correct.
I think you're on the cusp of industry that's gonna explode, really. So.
I believe so, and I hope so.
I think
hope
so.
It's more of a mainstream in the future.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. I see it every day. Trust me. Laura, before we get out of here, can you give everybody your social media handles, or your websites, anywhere you want them to follow you on?
Yeah, sure. So I pretty much have the same name for everything. It's Laura Ivette G. LauraiVetteg. That's my Instagram. That's my Facebook. That's my Snapchat. That's also Twitter. So I'm definitely going to start rolling out some fitness plans, possibly by the end of the summer.
Nice.
And really I've been trying to just put together my knowledge, what I've learned through the 4 or 5 years that I have now in the fitness industry, and just trying to put that as best as I can and put it out there and share it with everyone, because I think it is important for everyone to kind of get information from people that they aspire to or that they look up to, and really see what works and kind of like test it out. And that's important to me when I was following other people and trying their plans and trying to see what they did.
Right.
It was important to me to kind of get an idea of what it is that I have to do in order to be in the same, not physical fitness, but just in the same realm.
All right, folks, that was another Health Haven podcast. Lucky enough to have Bikini Pro, cover model, and molecular technologist Laura Ivette. Laura, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a great night.